Hi, thank you so much for being here. Happy holidays. I'm really excited to share today's project with you because it's something sentimental to my heart. During Christmas, we had these beautiful vintage figurines and I love to pull them out and just, I don't know, play with them. They were my fave. And so I thought I'd paint them for the holidays. Plus they're really easy to learn to paint with, so that's another good side. All right, so today we are painting this lovely angel. It's a pretty classic Christmas thing. You might have had it if you're from the Midwest. I feel like a lot of Midwestern people had it. And I'll show you how to sketch it out and just draw her. She's a blast. So also it's really useful because the reason you see so many of those like faces on Pinterest and whatever is because it's a great way to learn to paint and draw. So yeah, don't worry if you're a beginner, you got this. And I will see you in a minute for the tutorial. Thank you for being here. Okay, so we're finishing up our sketch. Hopefully you're able to follow along with that. It's some really basic shapes, just some circles, squares, nice profile sketch. And I'm mixing in some of, I'm pretty sure it's called like Jaune Pigment. It's like Jaune, but just look for a peachy color. And I made sure it's really light and I'm dropping it in with my bigger brush. And I had wet the whole face already so that it like will spread more because you'll get to know each of your colors, but this one is a little bit more opaque and it doesn't swirl around quite as much, so I knew that was gonna happen. So I'm just filling in her head, the face space. I'm leaving the eyes and the mouth blank. So I've still mixed that in. I'm adding a little bit of rose, and then a little bit of an orange. And the orange is a really highly pigmented one, so you can see what happened there. It's pretty heavy, so I'm blending that out. I did the nose. There's some artist says like you can never have too much red in the fingertips and nose, so I always like to have a little red nose. And we're painting the flower right now in the gloves, so I made some nice lime green. I did that with I just have a green watercolor and a lemon yellow. I mixed those two colors to get that nice bright poppy green. Cool. Now we're doing the flower she has in her hair. So that was just a straight red. You can kind of see it's more opaque. So we're going through that. And I mixed in a little bit of my rose color that I really, really love. I highly recommend this because it's like you can get the red tone, but it's not quite as just flat. It has more of that watercolor magic sparkle. And it also adds like the darkness. You can see a little bit. I'm mixing in some nice, I think that's Paynes gray. And that will blend out, so you don't need to worry. Like it looks pretty harsh right there, but that's fun to add the shadow. And then I had touched the edge of her face so it bled in. It's no big deal. If that happens to you, just grab your rag and just tap the edges. And we're making our hair color. So those were my lemon yellow, my cadmium yellow, and the burnt sienna. And now I mixed those three colors together. I'm filling in her hair. There we go. Getting a little bit darker for a few spots. And we just pull in her bangs, blend up. Had a little shadow for the hairline. That was a brown I mixed in there. There we go. Cool. And Now what are we doing? Her painting her little lips in. So for this, I'm using a smaller brush. I think it's a size 2, and I love to use my hand to mix because I can really get a feel for how the color works. And again, like I said, or I think I say a little bit later, always make the top lip a little bit darker. I did that by mixing in the rose. And then the lip shape is pretty simple. It's kind of like an M with a little bit like a circle hanging on the middle point of the M. And then just the bottom's like a little bit moon. So don't overthink it. Just do some classic lip shades. And I added some shadow in to the muffler and the collar. It was just like a light gray. I love getting my watercolors in the tube, so I will show you that at some point, but it really helps to have great watercolor. And then I have this gold ink pen that it's fun for me to use. I sign my prints with it, and I'm using this. I like how it bleeds out, and I just love using ink. It's one of my favorite methods like to use. So I use that gold pen. I'm putting a little bit of water and shadow in there. Again, my Paynes gray, we're going that under chin shadow, letting it all blend out. Okay, cool. So now we are doing our ink lines. I'm using India ink and a nib. And there we go. I'm going to start with the flower. I always start on the left side because I'm right-handed, and otherwise you smear it. And we're just going to trace the outline of like the flower center and get the petals going, adding some depth. There we go. Yep. Try not to use your wrist. Use maybe your elbow and your shoulder, if you can, instead. And we'll just trace through it. It's really nice. I love using India ink because I feel like it kind of adds like that darkness, and then also the lines are different widths, and like that adds a lot of interest to the piece. Okay, now we're going into our hair. We're going to do little lines through that. You really can't go wrong. Don't do too much. Less is more. There's like this famous I don't know, TED Talk or something, and they're always like, they're talking to this kindergarten teacher, and they're like, how do you get your kids to do such amazing artwork? She's like, I know when to stop. So start with less. Now we're tracing the outside of the head. Yeah, don't worry too much. Just get the little lines going. We have her fur collar we're tracing out. This is a fun spot because we just get to make like kind of wild marks. Oh, we're going to the hand. My bad. There we go. Yeah. So our wild marks are coming. Get those going. And the eye will know what it is because we have enough other reference material around to realize it's like winter time. So you don't have to worry about getting perfect when you're drawing the fur. Yeah, so we just put some nice lines in there. Let's see. Doing a present. Pretty sure you all remember how to do those boxes when you were a kid. You kind of like learned to draw a 3D box, and it's the coolest thing ever. If you haven't, just go look. It's so easy. It's a fun moment. Another tip is try not to get too much ink on your pen because sometimes big blobs happen. Yeah, there we go, the fur. It's wild marks. You don't have to worry too much. Just fluff. Just think of fluff while you draw. Let yourself be free. There we go. Okay, so the lip always has a little bit of more darkness on the top than the bottom. I generally don't like to trace a full lip because it just looks weird in drawing, so just do a little piece for, I forget what that is called, but that's going to be the shadow that you have in your upper lip, and then the shadow below your lip, and only trace the bottom of the top lip. And then for the eyes, we're pretty much only doing the lash line and the pupils. You're going to leave like a little, when you're coloring in the iris, I think it's the iris, I'm not sure, just leave like a little white spot, because that's going to be the highlight. And then we'll just do a few lashes, and it's just kind of like a half circle. You really can't go wrong because it's such a cutesy drawing, so don't worry. We'll do the other one. You'll see the half circle better. So yeah, these are fun. I love drawing low risk things because it really does the magic of art. You know, it's just supposed to be fun. That's the point here. All right, yep, got a little bridge of the nose. One there. Cute. So that's the fold of the cheek. You don't have to add that. Sometimes that can go wrong. And then I added two little tiny crescent moon shapes on the edge of the mouth facing up, so it seems more smiley. Cool. And I forgot to paint eyebrows in. always forgetting something. So we're gonna mix a little bit more yellow with some burnt sienna. And we're gonna make sure it's pretty transparent because I don't want it to be overwhelming. She looks pretty young in this drawing, like she looks like a little doll. And if you guys just want a tip, like young people tend to have lighter eyebrows, like toddlers and whatnot, and that's just kind of like the vibe we're having here for this like vintage cutesiness. So you don't want super strong brows right now. And then I also didn't fill in her blue all the way on that right eye, so I'm just coloring that in a bit. You don't need to worry. And then I like to put a few ink splatters because I think it looks interesting. So you can do that too, it's really fun. Give it a splatter. You can see I'm tripping. I'm like, what do I do? Okay, and we are done. Great job. Woo!